this has to be a very brave group. I'm not sure there are many people in the country who have a first pitch luncheon to launch the start of the baseball season when there are 1 to 2 feet of snow on the ground outside. So it's a brave group of baseball players we have who take on this challenge of preparing for a season in these conditions. Secondly, I'd just like to say that I have enjoyed watching the team as they have prepared for this season. We have a new level of energy and focus that has been clear to any of us who observe this group, and I enjoy that a lot. I'm excited about the season. Secondly, or the last point I'd like to make, is that I want all you folks, especially you parents, to know that we are very proud of this group of young men we have in our baseball program. They have, in years past and in this year as well, represented our school very well on and off the field. And so we're grateful for them. We wish them the best, and we look forward with a lot of enthusiasm for this season. So again, thank you for being here. And now Coach Eric Tyson comes with you.
Thank you, Mr. Brubaker. First of all, thank everyone for coming. This is the first year that we've done this, and hopefully it continues to improve each year after this. I want to start off by, again, thanking you all for coming and thanking Mr. Brubaker, and especially Mr. Steve Avery for coming and being our guest today. We've got a lot of people to thank. There are a lot of people, especially behind the scenes, that make a major impact on this program. In the immediate baseball family, we've added some coaches, we've added some personnel that have made a big impact on us also. Kevin Foman has stepped in and become our strength and conditioning coach, and that is his sole responsibility, and I think if you take a look at these guys, he's done a tremendous job. Lynn Newcomb and Pete Benjamin are our athletic trainers, and this is going to be one of the first years that we're going to have an athletic trainer with us on the road at some times. And we're hoping to try to make sure that that's a presence that continues to be more consistent, and our guys get taken care of and stay healthy throughout the season, get stronger throughout the season as the season progresses and hopefully into the postseason. We've got, I hired my father. That wasn't a joke yet. As our pitching coach, and he was reluctant to take the title of recruiting coordinator, but I kind of forced it on him, and I had our SID, Brad Monsteer, put it up on the website. So I kind of forced it on him that way, and then told him, oh, you might as well put it on your business card. It's up on the website. And so now he's getting all the phone calls and things like that. And but it's really a dream come true. That's been I couldn't be happier to be working with him. Of course, the long hours in the office sometimes can get a little feisty, but we all need that sometimes, I get a lot of questions, especially from players sometimes. How does he keep his hair like that? He'll say it just that's the way it is, but I think he takes a balloon to it every morning. He won't admit to it, though. Brad Coker, our hitting coach, has done a great job in the last couple of years, and this year especially, I think we've been able to see a huge increase in our amount of offensive production in the fall with some of our scrimmages and our inter-squad scrimmages and just the way we're attacking the baseball. And I'm really excited to see our offense go to work this year and start to back up this pitching staff that has become so good. There's no one I would trust more than my father with the pitching staff. He's easily one of the best pitching coaches in the country, and I don't say it because he's my father. He's been around a long time and he knows what he's talking about. And so all the talks and things that these pitchers have been getting for the last few years from me, they're getting twice as much now from the Zen Master. So in addition to that, the admissions and financial aid staff do a great job when it comes to recruiting, and every fall we usually send them an email and warn them that, hey, this month we're going to be seeing you about every single day, and they do a good job working with us, and they're a large reason that we get a lot of the players that we have and the quality of players and students and people that we get coming into this program. And the thing is the support for this program goes a long way from all of you in this room to the janitorial staff in the sports complex, and those people are wonderful. They're tremendous. They're making sure that our guys are staying healthy and clean, because we know that they wouldn't do their own laundry, and if they did, they'd probably ruin it. And so those people, they're very, very crucial for us, and they do a really, really good job in taking care of our guys, and our guys, I think, better than anywhere, show their respect to them. And they're on a first name basis, and it's great to see them chatting with them every now and then in the hallways. So getting to the program, kind of state of the program, I guess here, the fall went really, really well. We had a lot of good weather, and hopefully that continues to show its face and the sunshine comes out soon. We're hoping that all this snow is insulating the ground so it doesn't, we don't get too many puddles coming up from underneath the field when we start playing here. But we're playing our first game at home on March 22nd. So that's not too far away. Our first game in Michigan is March 19th, and that's supposed to be in Grand Rapids. So I almost have my fingers crossed that they're not ready to play and we are, and we can make that a home game. Now we open up our season in Louisville in 2 weeks. Okay, first game is 2 weeks from today. And so that's how I know the snow's going away. So we have to play in 2 weeks, so it's got no choice. And I already know, I've talked to many of you parents, and we're going to have a pretty good following, and a lot of you are going to be able to make it to that trip and our Florida trip the weekend after, which will be great. So we really appreciate your guys' support for these players and for the program. It's nice to have such a vested interest from so many people, so many extended family members and friends of the family, and we only hope that this continues to grow. And it's really been a joy for me. These guys, the players, the young men that we have, they really make our jobs easy as coaches, and we don't have to worry about a lot of the other nonsense outside of coaching. We just get to enjoy the perks of coaching. And so I want to personally thank all of our players for that, and their effort and their attitudes every day. So I'm gonna hand it over to my father, Gordy, and he's going to introduce Steve Avery. Again, thank you all for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Eric. And if any of you watched the video, the preseason video, Eric truthfully said in there that he's already fired me 3 or 4 times. And I'm sure it'll happen a lot more times as we get going through the season. But it is my privilege today to introduce our guest speaker, Steve Avery. I first met Steve a year ago. I coached his son over at Adrian College. But I had met his brother many years ago. And I do have a good story about my first year as a head coach. I tried to recruit Steve. He committed to Stanford. I don't know why he wanted to go to Stanford instead of Siena Heights University or Siena Heights College at the time. But Steve ended up being the third player chosen in the draft in that following June. I think that was 1988 probably. The third player chosen in the draft in all the country. That's pretty spectacular. And I remember seeing him play his senior year of high school, because I had recruited a kid from Monroe named Brian Rahowiak, and they were playing against Steve in the high school district tournament. And this is the truth. The Monroe fans cheered when their players hit foul balls that day. And I believe I also saw Steve hit a triple that day as well. But some of his accomplishments in the major leagues are pretty amazing. I think at one point in maybe 1990, he was the youngest player in the major leagues. I also think he's the youngest player. I could be wrong. I looked this stuff up. I didn't write it down. I think he was the youngest player to win, to be named the National League Championship Series MVP for the Braves. I want to say 1991. Also, I think between 91 and 92 in the National League Championship Series, he threw 21, 22, 23 scoreless innings, which was a record at the time. Maybe it still is a record, I don't know. But the other thing that is impressive about Steve, and this, as a parent, these are things that are important to so many of us in this room, is I was able to coach his son last year, and his son Evan, who's here today with us. And Evan is a young man, so much like so many of you in here, and just Evan's his demeanor as a teammate, his care for trying to get better every day as a baseball player and as a person really told me a lot about the kind of person Steve was. So when Eric talked about trying to have a luncheon at the beginning of the year to kick off our season, I thought, I don't know Steve very well. I talked to him a couple times last spring, but let's see if we can get him here. And I will say that, we're not paying Steve anything, and I'm sure he's probably sacrificing some time with his other kids at home. He's got 2 other kids, and maybe they've got sporting events he's missing today. So we really appreciate him being here. And so that I don't say anything that's really dumb, I'm just going to welcome Steve. Thank you for coming, and come on up and speak.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Just to kind of state what a good recruiter Gordy is. Last summer, I think he called me. I was at a graduation party for one of my buddies, and I didn't recognize the number. I answered it, and it was Gordy, and he said, "Hey, we're thinking about kicking off a banquet, our first one ever. Would you be interested in talking or speaking at it?" I said, "Sure, just let me know when it is and all that, and I'll see if the dates work and all that." And so I didn't talk to him probably until a couple weeks ago. I get an email and says, "All right, this is your day, you're coming." And I was probably planning on figuring a way to get out of it. And he didn't even give me that chance. So, I think he's going to be a great recruiter. He's going to tell you when you're going to be showing up at school. A lot of kids are going to be recruited that way. So, but I appreciate you guys having me. This is the first speech I've ever done, probably be the last one, so I'm not much of a public speaker. But I get asked a lot of questions, what it was like to pitch in the big leagues. I get asked a lot about the people that I played with, obviously. 3 of them are going into the Hall of Fame this year, which I'm, really excited for them about. I got Smoltz probably going in next year, and then Chipper, I'm sure, is going to go in a couple of years. So, as a teammate, I know Gordy talks to you guys a lot about being a good teammate. In some small way, I feel a part of it. I'm going to take my son there, my other son. We're going to go experience that with those guys. But just as far as being a teammate, baseball's a long, hard season. I'm sure you guys are going to get a taste of that. It's a year-round sport now. Guys train all year round. You put in so much time, with each other that you have to have some camaraderie. You have to be able to get along with everybody. You're going to bring people in from all over. And so when you get that many attitudes in one locker room and everyone thinks they're, you guys are in college now, you're a step above high school. Everyone's going to think, all right, I was the best player at my high school team. I'm going to do this. But to mesh those people in, and you have 2 great people here that can help you do that. But just realize that, these guys are all in the same situation. They're all going to struggle at times. You're going to struggle at times. Glavin, Maddox, winning 300, 350 games, but, there's times where you look at them and they're down in the dumps, and it's hard to imagine for you guys to see them, but, after getting kicked around for 3 or 4 starts in a row, it's hard. And like I said, I can feel like some small part of that. We used to golf, pretty much, 4 or 5 of us every time in between our starts we'd golf, we'd go talk about baseball. Push each other to do different things, work out harder, run harder. So when I see those guys going in and know that I had a small part of that, maybe, it's a proud moment for me. So I want to stress, the teammate part of it. Like Gordy said, my son, for the parents, I'm in the same situation you are right now. I spent most of my spring last year, which is probably the most miserable spring I've ever had to sit through, watching games. I think it was probably like an average temp of 35 and raining every day. But to go watch them play, and it was really exciting for me. I mean, obviously I've been around baseball my whole life, but there's nothing like watching your son go out and play college athletics. I think you guys, you realize coming into here, you come from different places, but you automatically have 30 to 35 new friends that are going to help you experience the college life. And, I just say, treasure the time that you're here. It's just a great experience for you guys, and hopefully, you get the most out of it. I wish you guys the best of luck this year, and then past college as well. I don't know if I should open it up to questions. Like I said, sometimes I get asked a lot of strange questions. I could probably share a couple good stories from my big league career. People ask a lot of stories about, like I said, people I played with. Glavin, since he's going in this year, he was always really straight and narrow. I mean, if he said something, I mean, he never lied. I mean, he was one of those guys, he was exactly like you kind of picture him. If you see him, he's always like buttoned up to the top and real straight and narrow. So I've seen a couple times where he gets a little out of hand, but Leo, our pitching coach, had this thing where he never wanted us to miss starts. And one time Tommy was golfing with us, and we were messing around playing golf, and he was crossing his bridge, and he slips on the bridge, falls, hits his rib on the bridge, goes in the water. We're rolling on the ground laughing, but it ends up he breaks his rib. And so, to show what a tough guy is, I mean, he was a hockey player growing up. Didn't miss a start with a broken rib, which is pretty impressive to be able to throw at that. I'm sure if you guys have ever pulled your side or anything, it's really difficult to throw. So that's one story about him. Maddox, I can't really share too many of his stories because I was telling Gordy, I think everyone looks at him and calls him the professor, the teacher. If he teaches anything, I wouldn't want your kids to learn it. He is one of the sickest people I've ever met. So I can't really share too much about him. Bobby, Cox is going in this year. Best manager I've ever had. I mean, I only had 4, but, the way he managed a team was just great. He would handle you with discipline. He always knew where your spot was. I mean, he never questioned them. One of my first starts when I was 20 years old, same age as you guys, I didn't know any better. I'm getting ready to start a game, and all day you're kind of nervous. I didn't really have much of an appetite, so I didn't want to eat. But about an hour before the game, I got hungry, so I said, well, I'm going to grab a hamburger. And it was like about an hour before. I'm sitting in front of my locker eating it. And for some reason, that set Bobby off. He just did not want to see me eating right before I'm going out to start. And he just ripped into me and just told me, what are you doing? You're never going to make it if you keep doing this kind of stuff. And I was like, man, I thought I was just scared when it's something to eat. But, but he was the kind of guy that he would yell at you if you did something wrong. But then later that night, he'd take you out and buy you dinner or something. I mean, he was a great communicator. You always knew where you were with him. If you were on his bad side, it never dragged out. He was, a punish and forgive right away. So I always enjoyed playing for him. And my first call up to the big leagues, I got called up to Cincinnati, which was really cool. I grew up in this area, and so all my family got to go down to Cincinnati. It's about a 4-hour ride, and I had probably 50 people there, but I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I didn't know a lot of the players all that much. I mean, from the spring, I knew a couple of them, but so I take a cab over to the stadium, got my equipment bag, put it in the back of the cab, get out of the cab, all excited, pay for the cab, go in the clubhouse, and, drives away. They said, so where's my locker? I go to my locker. go to get all my stuff out, and I realized I'd have no bag. I left my bag in the cab. So the club had to try and track the cab down. I mean, I got my glove, my spikes, everything I need. Almost didn't get to make my start that night, I guess. But so that was my welcoming into the big leagues, which was pretty funny. But you know, I don't know if any of you guys have any questions that you want to ask of me. Like I said, I'm not much on long speeches, but you know, if there's any way, you can ask me up here, you can ask me on the side. But if there's anything, any advice I can give you guys that might help you in your baseball career, I'd be more than happy to answer. All right. And thanks.